So right here in the build up to Dalot's goal, we can see that United are in possession in the middle third and are set up in a 3-2 shape at the base of the system, with Forest playing a 5-2-3 shape, enabling them to man-to-man press against United. And in this position, from United's perspective, the aim is to get the ball in behind Forest's front three, into one of Casemiro or Dalot to either turn out and play forward, or as Casemiro eventually does, lay it off for the other to then thread a pass forward. But the reason United are able to play through Forest so easily is because Forest don't get tight enough in the midfield, and so here as Lindelof is threading this pass, splitting Morgan Gibbs-White and Brennan Johnson, you can see that whilst Casemiro has done excellently to open up this passing lane from Lindelof into himself, Danilo, the Forest central midfielder, is a few yards off of him, but that's all it takes, as Casemiro has the quality to first time lay the ball perfectly weighted into Dalot's path so Dalot can zip a first time pass, splitting the Forest midfield too, to now get the ball in behind into Fernandes, with just 2 touches, the layoff from Casemiro and the first time pass from Dalot. And fundamentally, you can have the correct possession shape to allow you to play out of a press, but ultimately you need the players who are capable of playing one touch at speed with intensity, as Casemiro and Dalot did here. If however it had been two of McTominay, Fred and Wan-Bissaka in that pivot position, when Lindelof fizzes a pass into their feet, it's highly unlikely they would have been able to replicate this sort of ball progression speed and get the ball into Fernandes between the lines. Fred needs at least one touch before even attempting to get the ball under control. McTominay can play one touch, just not forward, and Wan-Bissaka has only just got accustomed to receiving the ball under pressure in wide positions, so definitely isn't suited to receiving the ball in an even more congested area in the middle of the pitch. However, I actually think that Dalot is perfectly suited to this role, particularly when he's playing at left back from the left side and inverting in field, as the angle allows him to perform this pass from the left side with his right foot to split the Forest midfield, where if it was a left footer in this position like Luke Shaw, his strong foot is on the defender's side, making it harder for him to complete this pass than it is for Dalot. I could also see Luke Shaw doing what Dalot did but from the right side with his left foot, and so maybe a way to improve United's build up is by having one of Dalot or Luke Shaw invert from the opposite side as a fullback. Something we don't often see, with the brief João Cancelo experiment at City now seemingly over, and even Philipp Lahm back at the start of his career being more of a traditional fullback from the left despite being right-footed, with the same also going for Cesar Azpilicueta during his spell as a left back in Mourinho's Chelsea side. But anyway, Dalot being a right-footed left-back allows him to make this first-time midfield splitting pass into Fernandes, who like Casemiro and Dalot is able to find space away from his marker. We see here that as Dalot is playing the pass into Fernandes, the United essentially are playing with a front 5, but overloading the right side with both Wan-Bissaka and Antony sitting high. The first issue for Forest is that McKenna isn't tight enough to Fernandes, allowing him to move the ball onto Antony, but even before Antony receives the ball, you can see that Renan Lodi, the left back, is in trouble. He needs to push up to pressurise Antony as soon as he receives the ball, but if he pushes up then he vacates a space in behind for Wan-Bissaka to overlap into, and so because of this, Lodi is forced to hold a deeper position, covering the Wan-Bissaka run, but this allows Antony the space to drive into, and so you can see how Ten Hag has used what I refer to as positional pinning high up the pitch to cause overloads, and by pushing 5 players high and wide and leaving 5 deep and narrow, this provides United with the right amount of space in both the middle and final third to take advantage of. And from here, Antony initially does well to take the opportunity to drive the ball into the final third, and crucially he doesn't let the Forest centre-back McKenna get back goal side and close off the space that he's vacated in the back line. And whilst this may seem like an insignificant point of praise, we have seen Antony earlier on in the season not take this sort of opportunity, not being decisive enough, and often looking like he'd rather beat a man in a 1v1 rather than just drive past him into space. But here he does exactly that, and as we come to this point you can see that Antony has a streamlined passing lane open to him to free Weghorst, who is bending his run in behind the Forest back line. And I think if this is Martial or Rashford making this run, then Antony slides them in here, but I think he looked up and saw it was Weghorst, and unsure either about his pace to reach the pass or his finishing once there made Antony hesitate, forcing him to then hold on to the ball, and so when Felipe steps out to meet him, Antony has to drop a shoulder and go on the outside of Felipe again, and he does this wonderfully, keeping the ball under control, And whilst he is doing this, because Dalot had taken up almost a conventional defensive midfield position in possession, he is already in a central position, and he continues to move up the pitch, and because Sancho holds his width on the left side, Nico Williams and Diakite are stretched, opening up a space for Dalot to make a late bursting run into, and from here it's Antony's quality that creates the goal. The ball control and the balance to just dance away from Felipe, but then he also has the awareness where Dalot is and where he's running into, and puts the perfect timing and weight on a threaded pass, setting Dalot through, and because he's running from the left side he can just open up his body and slot the ball past Navas in goal, completing a tremendous series of play. As I said in previous videos, I am now doing full video and channel reviews, so if you want me to give you any advice or feedback for a specific video or for your whole channel, you can send an email to atlantisfootball96@gmail.com. But if you just enjoyed the video, you can check the description for more. You can subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you do get notified when the video comes out, and put your thoughts in the comment section below. And you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, which will be in the description, for more content as well.